Okay, quite a lot of people have been asking me about this quadcopter, how they can build one and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to walk you around it a bit, and then I'm going to fly it, and we'll have some onboard footage, and then you'll see it flying as well. It's pretty windy today. It's in a little bit of a shelter here, but once it goes up a bit, it's about, I've just had the wind meter out, and it's about 15 miles an hour, gusting to 25 or so. So too windy to fly a paramotor, but this will fly no problem. Okay, so this is a DJI NAZA kit at the base of it. So for the kit, what you get is you get the frame, the controllers, the motors, and that costs around about plus the actual NASA computer control unit. That costs you about I think it's about £400 now. The GPS is another £150. To that you need to add a battery and a receiver and transmitter. This receiver I've got is it's actually a really good one, but it's really cheap. It's a TX9X. You can pick these up for about £60 or £70. Then it's programming it all in. In addition, I've also got one of these, which is a HoryzonHD video camera. If you've got a GoPro, that's fine. The benefit of this one is it's in two parts. You've got the screen here and the camera part down here, so the camera is an awful lot lighter, and you can separate the payloads around. The battery I've got in this is a 14.8 volt LiPo. That'll last for about 7 minutes flight, depending on what you're doing. Underneath I have a 2-axis gimbal. So this has got 2 servos in it, and it's connected to the NASA. The NASA supports it. So basically the NASA control unit, as it flies, sends signals to this to level itself. So while it's flying, this remains level all the time. You'll see it moving about later. The other thing that I've got on here is a video transmission. So if I turn this round, you'll see round here we have a video sender unit with an aerial. That sends video at 5.8 gigahertz, so it's on a different channel from the 2.4 gigahertz which the receiver and transmitter use to control it. And I have a pair of video goggles that I can put on and either monitor the video that I'm actually shooting, just or stills, or I can actually fly it completely by video, which is handy if it's somewhere that I can't actually see it line of sight. I can just put the goggles on and fly it. Okay, apart from that, the only other thing that's different is the props. These are gopro props. They're a lot more less flexible than the standard ones, and you get a lot less vibrations off them. And for video shooting, you get a lot better pictures. Finally, I just want to show you that underneath here we've also got a standard camera mount, and I can screw a normal sort of 300-400 gram travel camera, so anything really. An SLR would be a little bit heavy, but anything other than that is fine, so I can stick that to the bottom, and that gives me another way of shooting if I don't want to rely on the internal camera. For example, I usually put a Sony HX9V on the bottom, which has an incredible optical stabilization as well. So together it means you get a really stable, like incredibly smooth video. With this, the video is okay, but there's no stabilization built into this camera, so you're relying on the gyro stabilization. You can see the way I've mounted the gyros. It's on a sort of vibrational isolation plinth, which gets rid of some of the vibrations, but you always get some of them coming through. Transmitter wise, well, it's up to you to program that. It takes you quite a while farting about to get everything you want. There's all sorts of different modes. What I'll be flying it in today is called course mode, which basically means the computer's going to be controlling it quite a bit, and it's going to keep it stable. It's going to keep it level. I've got control to move it around and fly it up and down and left and right and all that kind of stuff, but it's handling quite a lot of the stability. The other thing is that the course mode part means that basically when I switch it on, it's got a built-in compass as well as GPS, and it'll remember what way it's facing, and then no matter what way I'm spinning it round, left or right, it continues to know what way it was originally facing, so that when I tell it to go forward, it will go forward in relation to what way it was originally facing. So you'll see that when I'm flying, but basically it means you don't really need to worry about what way it's facing at all. You can just spin it round and round and round and still make it go forward and backwards. So that's really helpful, especially when you're shooting video. When I'm actually wanting to fly it by video with the video goggles on, I need to switch that off, and I've got that programmed into here, so I can just flick a switch, that's off. I can fly it with as if I'm on board, flick it back, and I'm in course lock. It's also got a go home feature, so if you get lost or if the battery goes down, you can set it so that it will fly itself back and land itself from where it took off from, which is quite useful. Okay, so let's have a flight. Oh, shit. So we can see some video. So we're going to go, I'll swap between on board and this view. Hopefully I can manage to keep the quadcopter in the shot. Here we go. So as I say, it's about 15, gusting to 25, and then once we get out of this, it goes to about, it should be 20, 25 or so once we get above the houses. Okay, so see the wind catching it quite a bit here. Just turn it round. Okay, I can control the angle of the camera as well. You can move it up and down. And you can see even in this wind, it's still pretty stable. So I'm going to just shoot up into the sky, see how quickly it can go up. Oh, as you see, that will keep going for maybe about 600-700 feet before I wouldn't worry about the battery going. And if you can see, I'm hopefully getting it in here, you can see that with the GPS lock on it, it's just completely stable in the sky. Once it gets the GPS lock, it'll just sit. It's drifting a little bit just now, but usually it'll just sit there in the sky once it gets the GPS lock. Considering it's 25 miles an hour wind, that's pretty good, isn't it? Just bring it down to the end. So I'll bring it down to the house. Keep it high enough so that it's not really going to be too gusty. I'm going to put it on 50% throttle. It should stabilise itself, see that? And then just sits there basically. You can see the odd gust catching it, but stabilises itself, it moves back into the same spot and stays there. I think we're still pointing towards me. You should hopefully be able to still see me. You might be able to see the angle of the quadcopter slightly like that because it's having to keep itself stable in the wind. Bring it back down. As we get a bit lower, we get a bit more room from it, moving about a little bit more. Still pretty stable. So the gimbal, if I bring it in front of the camera, if you look at the gimbal camera underneath it, you'll see that as I'm moving left and right, the camera stays in the same position. Okay. It also moves back and forth. And I'm now going backward, forward, still going to be quite shaky because the wind just chucking all over the place. That gives you an idea. Quite blustery. But still, I'm not even touching the controls just now. So finally just scoot it away from me. Quite low. See how yep. Again, I'm off the controls. Just stabilising itself into the wind. Pull off the throttle a little bit. The quads went out of shot a few times here. It's difficult to tell what was in the helmet at this point. Again, go backwards. See there? So hopefully you can see I'm just behind the tree over there. The range of this thing's like 2 or 3 miles, so far that you don't need to worry about it. The video sender, if I had the goggles on, should be at least 2 or 3 kilometres, but mine isn't working so well at the moment, so it's about 300 metres. That's about it. Stabilising itself. There you go. Just a cool little toy. If I take it, I know that over the table here, I know there's not a lot of turbulence. Stable. Go down the table. Mile an hour when gusting to 25 just now. Still perfectly happy. Spin the camera around. Little neighbour's tree here. Parents' house. Visit. I should point out, I don't usually wear a crash helmet while flying this, that's just GoPro mounted, so it even looks even more stupid than I usually do flying this in the backyard. Total cost of one of these things? Well, it really depends what you do. If you want to have DJI NAZA with the GPS, drop, battery, transmitter, you're looking at around £600, £700. So, there you go, DJI NAZA and high wind, both wind view. Land? Well, land itself.